Welcome to the Weekly Thrive Report with me, Greg Eel, the Coach and Change Agent. As always, I am excited, I'm pumped up, and I got a special announcement. I am going on the Whole 30 challenge for the next 30 days. I have to do it. This week I will split my pants, because y'all know when I get on my speech, I do like the mid pose where I'm like right there and I got my legs split. And I tried to throw in the 34-34s this week, and yo, it wasn't the same experience as it was a year ago, right? Because I've been getting comfortable wearing the hoodies and wearing the pants, wearing the jeans. And probably if y'all watched a couple of these, a couple of the behind the scenes, you see like the hoodie stopping like the back of my pants. And I'm like, yo, I done put on a couple pounds. I jumped on that scale, I done put on about 15 pounds. So, side note, I lost 5 pounds this week, so thank you very much. But I said, man, I need something drastic. And the Whole 30 last time, I came back shredded. I had the six-pack, boy, everything was cool. So I'm doing the Whole 30. So hold me accountable, all that good stuff, right? Matter of fact, the first person that emails me by next Sunday, so I'm gonna have y'all week on Sunday, it emails me, checks in, say, Greg, how you doing? At greg@gregehill.com. You will get a free ticket to the Minority Trailblazer Conference. Side note, these tickets ain't cheap. They're like $259, $249.99 right now, mtbconf.com, short plug. But the first person that emails me on Sunday saying, Greg, show me the pictures for this week, right? I got you a free ticket. So this week I want to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart, because over the last couple weeks, people have been asking me about keynoting, conferences, speaking, all this other stuff, which is cool, but I want to take a step back. And this is specifically for my college students and for my young professionals. And everybody can get something from it, but if you have a college student, you have a son, tell them to watch this video. If you're a young professional, stay right here. You're an older professional, stay here. Seasoned, not older. Stay right here, because this is critical. And I think I've said it before, but it's been in my spirit this week. I want to talk about it. Produce where you are planted. Let me repeat. Produce where you are planted. There are so many people right now that want so much stuff that they are not ready for. Not to say their skills not ready for, but maybe their business is not ready for. Their life, their relationships, everything that they have developed in their household, their habits, the culture, their environment, they are not ready for. And you're expecting to blow up, but you're not producing where you're already at. And I think, and let me be critical, because I mean, in the day, I used to suffer this as well. That's why it took me so long. It took me 4 years to finally start charging what I'm worth. Because the first couple years, I always had the talent, but I wasn't ready. I was always focused on, man, what he's getting, what's that, instead of producing where I was at. And once I said, yo, G, bump all this stuff. You don't need no gigs. Do the Weekly Thrive Report. Do the podcast every single week. You don't need no sponsors. Do this every single week. And what did that morph into? Merchandise. What did that morph into? Conferences, podcast tours, Harvard University. Now, next year, I mean, my calendar's already booking in for 2018. A couple years ago, I could have never imagined that people would be 6 months out, not only booking me, but paying a deposit 6 months out. How did that happen? Because I started producing where I was at. And let me be real critical. Let me be real tangible, real practical, right? This week, I signed the biggest contract of my life as far as speaking wise, and I was finally ready for it. What do you mean by you ready for it? Back in the day when I first started, I wanted to get on Steve Harvey. I wanted to get on Oprah. Shoot, I had a 30-minute TV special when I first came out the gate. Matter of fact, you can look below for the link. When I first came out the gate. So I said, y'all want to blow up, might have killed the whole game. It didn't happen like that, because if I wanted 1,000, 2,000, whatever, to come talk for 40 minutes an hour, I had horrible contracts, if I had a contract at all. I had no way to get feedback. I had no data. I had no videos. I was always focusing on the big contracts, but I didn't have anything that would justify what I wanted. And so many of you right now, you're trying to skip steps. You want that internship, you want that job offer, but where's your portfolio at? Okay, you have an okay resume. Where's your portfolio at that speaks to your work? If you're in high school right now watching this, you want J's on your feet, you want all this stuff, but where is your portfolio? Where is your action that will allow you to get certain things? If you at your job right now, you've been at it for a year, you want that promotion, you want that raise, you say you're better than your boss or better than your coworker that just got the raise, but where's your portfolio? Where's the things that can actually show how you are better? How are you tracking? Are you focusing on your job and getting better every single day? Self-advocating. If you don't know how, reading books, going to seminars and conferences, how to get better. Are you focused on that, or are you focused on trying to get that raise? Because I guarantee you just focus on trying to get that raise, you ain't never going to get it. And here's 2 steps, 2 critical steps on how you can make that change to stop worrying about planting seeds where you ain't even sold nothing. So the 2 key things that will allow you to take that next step is, number 1, take a reality check. It's really simple. It's not groundbreaking, not ground shattering. But many of you just really need to take a reality check of where we're at. This summer when I went on a live podcast tour, I knew I got 5,000 followers on Instagram, probably like 20,000 on LinkedIn, and on Facebook I'm really good with ads. But I knew I just could not just put a link out there to people to come to my events and people just gonna show up. I'm not a celebrity. I'm internationally known, but it ain't like everybody just banging on their door to get me to events. I knew I had to continue to produce podcasts. I knew I had to reach out to people one-on-one, have calls, develop partnerships. I had to extend everything I had just to sell 30, 40, 50 tickets. I knew that. I was really self-aware. And once I got there, I knew I had to document the process. There's certain things I knew I had to do in order to kind of, so that my online audience can start transforming to real audience. Reality check. And right now, when you're talking about producing where you're at, take a reality check. Look at, if you're trying to get a raise, have you gotten a raise before? What did it take to get those raises? Break it down logically. Write it down. You're a speaker. They're trying to get more speaking gigs. How did you get those speaking gigs that you already got, right? The ones that you already had, where did they find you at? Why did they pay this amount? Do they have referrals? They have different clients. Start thinking like that. If you're writing, if you haven't wrote a book, you want to write a book, say, okay, cool. What does it take? What are the gaps and how can I fill them? There's certain things that we are just jumping over because we're not taking a reality check where we're at. A lot of us are trying to market our platforms, market our services, market everything. But what happens when they come? What happens when they come to your website? What happens when they inquire to book you to speak? What happens when they say we do want to pitch, we do want to fund your company? Do you know what you're going to do with the money? Do you know, if they do say, oh, let me book you to speak, do you have your contracts in place? Do you have a business account? Do you have testimonials? Do you have referrals? What happens when you do get that gig? Do you have a process to follow up and get those referrals? Like, okay, somebody says, hey, now you got your job to be a full-time entrepreneur. What you gonna do with your time? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, next week, next month, next year, next decade. And I didn't know that. When I first started, I said, oh, I got my time back. I'm an entrepreneur. Had $10,000 in a savings account. I blew that through that in 3 months, and I had no clue because I didn't know what I was doing. So I said, when you take a reality check, you start to look at those small little gaps in your business, small little gaps in your profession, your skill, and start to work on it. But when you're not taking a reality check, you're always running. You're always focused on getting more marketing, getting more eyeballs on a product that you don't even got prepared to blow. So that's the first thing. The second thing, after you take the reality check, and side note, what does that look like? That means actually writing down each step of the process on what it's going to take for you to get to that next level and seeing where you're at with it. Case in point, that's it. And if you think you are where you're at, send whatever you're trying to do to a professional and have them vet it. And I guarantee they'll tell you where you're at. And if you have to pay for it, all right? So that's actionable. You can take that and run with it. The second thing I need you to do is cherish responsibility over the reward. Let me say it again because I've been talking about responsibility a couple times. Last week I talked about it. This week I'm back on that piece. Cherish the responsibility over the reward. When you have a career or whatever you're doing, when you think about the responsibility of it, because a lot of times we look at the rewards of speaking on stages. You get a lot of money doing that. Reward of writing books. You get to, people say, hey, your book changed my life. You get to take picture ops and all that good stuff. We look at the rewards of having more followers online or being looked up upon, being popular, but we don't look at the responsibility for that. And we have a yearning to be more responsible. Okay, of course, okay, I get paid now to speak. What is my responsibility to impact the audience? How to impact the audience? I continue to create product. I continue to, if I get an obstacle, think about reframing my mind. Okay, what can I learn from that? Or let me create a video for it. Let me create a product for it. Let me talk to this person. Let me this. Like I cherish more responsibility, and I honor the responsibility. But if I'm chasing the reward, if I'm cherishing what I can get from it, I'm never going to take that step. So I hope that helps somebody out there that wants to take their things to the next level, that wants to feel more complete, just wants to make a change, make a shift, or just grow. Cherish where you're at. Cherish the responsibility. Produce where you are planted, and I guarantee you will reap the rewards in due time. It may not come in a month, it may not come in a year, it may not come in 5 years, but it's gonna come. But you gotta stay there and continue watering it, right? You see the plant and they growing, you gonna stop watering it? Because guess what? The plant ain't never gonna grow. So every single second, every single minute, every single hour, every single day, every single year, you gotta continue to water that plant. And I guarantee once you water that plant, you're gonna come back. It's gonna have a whole forest. But if you stop, you're gonna be a desert, man. I had to take you there, man. Hope you got something for that. Now let's transition to the weekly thrive. Alright, the great things that happened this week were I performed back-to-back workshops at the NC Works Partnership. Matter of fact, I got a review online, so make sure you go check that out. It was a phenomenal experience, and I learned a lot from it, so I'll talk about it more online. But yep, back-to-back NC Works Partnership. I'll be there next year. Make sure you go check it out. The second great thing that happened was, like I mentioned beforehand, I signed my biggest speaking deal to date. The ink ain't dried yet, but I'm excited. It's gonna be big, and it's just a blessing to finally, what I feel, be charging what I'm worth, and to continue growing in that. So I'm excited. I know I'm gonna add value to whatever audience that just booked me, and I'm grateful and I'm honored for it. And the third thing that the great thing that happened this week is, for once in a lifetime, over the last couple of years, I prioritized my own happiness. So I own my schedule back. I respond when I need to respond. And I just took ownership back on my time, ownership back on some of friendships, and ownership back on where I would like to go, through God, of course. So that's a great thing to happen. One area for improvement, my response time. I know it's kind of counterintuitive, like I just grew in happiness and owning all this other stuff, but my response time, I mean, there's a lot of emails in my inbox, a lot of texts not been returned, a lot of calls haven't been returned, and just because of the nature of my schedule and what I do. But I want to do better on responding, and not say responding to actually that, but hey, I'm on travel this week, so it might be 2-3 days before I respond. But when I do, I'll let you know. Just having that professionalism, so if I'm going to respond late, letting people know I'm having an automatic response in order to do that. And I am going to get a virtual assistant to kind of handle a lot of the email interaction, so I can do a lot better with that. Yeah, because I lost a couple of gigs because I just didn't respond on time. So that's one thing I improve on, or I got to improve on next week. My recommended book, tool, or resource this week is Netflix. Watch a documentary, all right? Watch a documentary on Netflix. I would say watch James Brown documentary. It's a great peek into his life, peek into the success. James Brown, the singer, transcendent talent of, man, he was huge back then. He inspired so many, like Michael Jackson, Prince, Usher, Chris Brown, so many people hyped, and not even black people, just white people just in general. So many people across the country were inspired by his music, his business prowess, and everything else. So that's my record tool, Netflix. My biggest takeaway this week is everybody's human. I watched the Chris Brown documentary, and I won't say anything on actual things that transpired in his career, but what I can say is everybody's human, everybody makes mistakes, and everybody does certain things. And when you get to see the backstory about everything and the background of who they are as people, and specifically when you're held to a higher standard and when your life is on a big screen, your mistakes are magnified. And that's another thing about responsibility, because now as my responsibility personally has risen, now my mistakes are starting to become more magnified. So always be wary of growing and leveling up in certain spaces when you're not ready, because certainly sometimes you might be in a situation where your character, your talent is not even ready for. And I learned so much about him and his craft and his dedication to it, and just the trials and tribulations of becoming a mainstream artist and doing that. So that was a great documentary, a great watch. So yeah, everybody's human. One goal for the week is to visit 10 local businesses, just like last week. I didn't do it last week. Hold me accountable. I didn't. So this week we're going to visit 10 local businesses, talk about sponsorship and all that good stuff. And then my one challenge to you this week is see the best in everybody. That's it. Simple and plain. Challenge yourself. If somebody's coming at you with just negative energy, negative everything, challenge yourself to try to see the best in that person, all right? Because there's always sometimes we have bad days, we have bad years, we have bad moments. So just try to see the best in everybody, all right? That's all I got to say. And as always, let's do one thing and one thing only. What is that? Hey, subscribe to the channel to change the freaking culture. Good night. Hey, yo, today I got something special. I'm going to show y'all a quick snippet of my dance routine, right? Like before a speech or before I do anything, I always like to dance. So roll the tape. Yeah, roll the tape, bro.